My name is Mike, and for over a decade, I was a 911 operator in a quiet suburb just outside Chicago. You get used to the rhythm of the calls. Dewey's, domestic disputes, kids pranking with fake screams. It becomes routine. But the call that came in from apartment 12C at 142 Oakwood Drive on a stormy Friday night in November shattered that routine forever. It still haunts me. It was 3:12 a.m. when the line lit up. The voice on the other end was a man named David Ruiz. He was calm, but it was an unnatural calm, the kind that's trying to cage a scream. I said, 911, what's your emergency? After a long pause, he answered, there's a man outside my window. He's been standing there for 2 hours, just staring. I tried to keep him grounded. Okay, stay on the line with me. Describe him. Does he have any weapons? Can you confirm your address is 142 Oakwood, apartment 12C? He confirmed. Yeah, he's tall, maybe 6'5", wearing a ragged coat soaked from the rain. His face is pale as bone. He doesn't blink. He never moves. He's just watching my kids sleep through the glass. My fingers flew across the keyboard, dispatching units immediately. Officers Halle and Vargas. ETA was 8 minutes. As they raced towards him, David whispered updates that chilled me to my core. He's smiling now. His teeth look like needles. He's writing something on the window with his finger. My name, D-A-V-I-D. A clap of thunder crackled over the phone, and underneath it, I could just make out a low chuckle from outside his apartment. I could almost hear the window fog up with breath. David's voice trembled. He's mouthing words, let me in. But his lips? They aren't moving right. David, I urged, get your family into the bathroom. Lock the door. The police are close. His reply was desperate. I can't. The bedroom door is jammed. Something's holding it shut. In the background, I heard the small, whimpering voices of his children. They could see the man, too. He's tapping the glass now, David whispered. A slow rhythm like a clock. 1, 2. Tap. He's mouthing your turn to play. Oh God, the window is cracking. My screen showed the patrol car closing in, sirens off to avoid spooking the figure. David's breathing became ragged. His eyes are black voids. They're stretching his sockets. He's pressing his face against the glass. His nose is flattening, like putty. A sharp crack echoed through the phone, the sound of glass spider webbing. He's through? His hands are inside. His fingers are too long. They're wrapping around the curtain. I heard fabric tear, and then the children's screams, piercing the storm. He's pulling the frame apart. It smells like wet dirt and rot. David, scream for help. Make noise. The officers are at your building. I yelled into the headset. His response was terrifying. No. He's whispering to the kids. He's saying Daddy's friend. They're quieting down. They're smiling back at him. An eerie silence fell, broken only by faint, childish giggles. What's happening? His arm is fully in the room now. The skin is sloughing off like wax. He's grabbing my leg. It's cold. A burning cold. The line erupted into chaos. Wet, slapping sounds, furniture crashing, and David's guttural yells fading into gurgles. Over it all, I could hear a chorus of those childlike laughs, mingled with a low growl, like something massive uncoiling in the small room. Then static, and through the static, a final sound. Tap, tap, tap. 20 seconds later, Officer Hale's voice came over the radio. Mike, the scene's clear. The door was unlocked, no sign of forced entry. The apartment's trashed. There are blood smears on the walls leading to the closet. But there are no bodies. The closet's empty, except for a single handprint on the inside of the door. The fingers are fresh and elongated. David's wife returned from her night shift the next morning. She told the officers he'd mentioned a watcher the week before, but she thought it was just stress. They found his phone in the closet, open to a photo of his family. They were all smiling, but in the reflection of the window behind them, you could see a tall figure grinning, its eyes black voids. Investigators learned that other families in the area had reported similar watchers in the months prior, right before they vanished without a trace. But that's not the end of it. When they reviewed the 911 recording, they found something after the static cut out. A faint tapping, and then a new voice, one that wasn't David's. It said, "Good night, Mike. Sweet dreams." I transferred stations after that. I couldn't stay. But now, every time there's a storm around 3:12 a.m., I hear a tapping on my window. A pale face presses close to the glass, smiling. And somehow, it already knows my kids' names. Always sleep with your curtains drawn. Thanks for listening. My name is Sarah, and for 7 years I worked as a 911 dispatcher in a sleepy Midwestern town. I thought I'd heard everything, the frantic calls about shootings, the gut-wrenching screams from car crashes, the sheer panic of hysterics. But I was wrong. One call at exactly 2:47 a.m. on October 14th shattered my world. The call came from apartment 4B at 217 Lake Street. The woman's name was Emma Johnson, and her voice trembled like a leaf in the wind. This wasn't your usual emergency. I could feel it in my bones. I answered, 911. What's your emergency? Speak to me, ma'am. Her voice was a choked whisper. Help, please. It's in the wall. I tried to keep her calm, to make sense of it. Calm down. What exactly is it? Is it an animal? An intruder? Can you confirm your address is 217 Lake Street, apartment 4B? Yes, she sobbed. The third bedroom, the chewing. It started last night. I thought it was just the neighbors, but it's closer now. Can't you hear it? I hit the record button and immediately dispatched the nearest patrol car. Officers Reed and Thompson were only 6 minutes out. As I relayed the information, Emma's voice cracked. My cat, Missy, she vanished 2 days ago. I found some of her fur in the air vent, and now I can hear bones cracking. It's eating something. Through the line I heard it too. A scratching sound. Nails dragging against plaster, slow and deliberate. A chill ran down my spine. Emma, I need you to go into the bathroom, lock the door, and barricade it with anything you can find. The police are almost there. Her panic escalated. There's no time. It knows where I am. I can feel it moving under the floor, the wall. It's vibrating. It's right here. Oh God, a hand. A human hand is coming out of the wall. My heart hammered against my ribs. A hand? Emma, what does it look like? It's gray, she cried, and the fingers are bending the wrong way. I switched channels to check on my officers. They were still en route, racing against the clock. Emma's screams tore through the speaker. It's whispering my name. Emma, join us. There are eyes in the crack. They're red, with no whites. The sound on her end intensified. It was a chewing noise, right next to the mic, wet, rhythmic, like someone tearing tendons from bone. My leg, she shrieked. It's pulling me in. I heard fabric rip, then the unmistakable drip, drip, drip of blood. Hold on, Emma, I yelled. Are they breaking down your door? Her voice was faint now, a gurgle. Too late, it's inside me, eating me from within. Tell my husband, I love, and then the line filled with the most horrific sounds I've ever heard. Chewing, slurping, and low, guttural growls. After a few seconds, it stopped. The line went silent, broken only by the hiss of static. Patrol burst into the apartment 30 seconds later. Officer Reed's voice came over the radio, strained and breathless. Sarah, it's a living hell in here. The apartment's empty. The front door was locked from the inside. The bedroom wall, it's torn outward. There's blood and chunks of flesh everywhere, but no body, just the phone on the floor, and something written on the mirror in blood. It says Emma's inside. They searched the entire building, the basement, the vents, everywhere. They found nothing. Emma's husband, Tom, arrived, completely distraught. He told the officers she'd been complaining about noises for weeks, but he thought they were just hallucinations. When they found her diary, they realized the horrifying truth. Her last entry read, "It's growing." It ate the neighbors upstairs. The neighbors hadn't been seen in a month. But the worst part came later. When I reviewed the call recording, I listened past the moment of silence. In the static, I heard a faint whisper. It said, "Your turn now, Sarah." I quit my job a week later, but the fear never left me. Every single night, at exactly 2:47 a.m., my phone rings, even when it's unplugged. And I can hear it, the chewing from inside my walls. It's hungry, and it remembers my voice. Maybe you should sleep with the lights on tonight. Thanks for listening. My name is Lisa. I've been a 911 dispatcher for 12 years in a small, rural county in Ohio. Out here, you get calls from remote farms and winding back roads where you know help is always just a little too far away. But nothing in all my years on the job could have prepared me for the call I took from the old Miller farmhouse. It came in at 1:23 a.m. on a foggy Halloween Eve. The voice on the other end was a teenage girl, Riley. She was whispering, her words cracking with a terror so raw, it felt like she was hiding right under her bed. I answered, 911, this is Lisa. What's your emergency? She took a shaky breath. Please. It's in the house, downstairs. It's eating something. I could hear it in her voice, the fight to stay quiet. She described wet sounds like meat being torn apart. I told her to stay calm and give me her address. Miller Farm, 309 Elm Hollow, she whispered. My parents are gone, just a trip to town. It's just me and my dog, Boomer, but he's not barking. He was barking all last night. A faint, sickening squelch echoed through the line and she gasped. Oh God, it's moving. It's coming up the stairs. I lit up my board, dispatching the only 2 sheriff's deputies on the night shift. They were 15 minutes out, navigating those winding gravel roads in the thick fog. Riley's whimpers filled my headset. The footsteps. They're heavy, dragging. It sounds like it's sloshing, like it's covered in blood. She said the floorboards were creaking under something huge. I coached her, told her to grab a weapon, to hide. She crept into her bedroom closet, turning off her phone's light. The smell, she gagged. It's like rotten eggs and copper. It's sniffing at my door. A low, rasping sound came through the phone, like claws testing the wood. Riley, breathe slow, I urged, my own heart pounding. The deputies are coming. Describe it if you can. Her voice shot up in panic. The door's rattling. It's not turning the knob. It's just pushing, bulging the frame. I can see a face pressed against the crack. It's not human. The mouth is too wide, and the teeth are like hooks, dripping with something black. Its eyes are glowing yellow, and they're locked right on me. The door groaned loudly, and then she screamed. It's laughing, it's gargling my name. Really hungry. Sweat was pouring down my face as I relayed updates to the deputies. They radioed back that the fog was a wall. Visibility was 0. Riley's panic reached a fever pitch. Splinters are flying. There's an arm coming through the door. The skin is hanging in strips. I can see the muscles pulsing. It's grabbing at the air, just inches from my face. Wet smacking sounds followed, like lips savoring a fresh kill. Boomer's collar, she choked out. It's on the floor. His fur is matted red. It's chewing slower now, tasting the air. Her breathing turned ragged. I could hear her nails gouging plaster, wood splintering. Its legs are coming through. It's pulling me. No, please. I yelled into the mic, Riley. Fight back, they're almost there. But her words were muffled. I can't. Its mouth is on my ankle. The teeth are sinking in. It burns. A scream ripped through the line, quickly cut off by gags and choking sobs that faded into sickening slurps. Then she whispered, tastes like home. The line dissolved into pure chaos. The sound of ripping fabric, of bones crunching, and a throaty purr that vibrated the microphone. Distorted gurgles layered over the noise, and I heard Riley's voice, twisted and warped, whisper, come find us, Lisa. Then only static. The deputies arrived at 1:38 a.m. Their radio call chilled me to the bone. Lisa, it's a slaughterhouse up here. Front door is wide open. Blood trails lead up the stairs to the bedroom. The walls are shredded. Dog parts are scattered everywhere. There's no girl. The basement is flooded with some kind of red muck, and it's steaming. On the fridge, a note was scrawled in blood. Family's complete. Who's next? The Millers returned at dawn, confused. They said Riley had texted them hours ago that everything was fine. A trace showed the text was sent from the house after her call with me had dropped. The neighbors just whispered old stories about the Harvest Man, a local legend who claims lone farm kids during the fog season. No bodies are ever found, just the stains. I reviewed the tape alone that night. After the minute of static, I heard it. A child's giggle, and then my name whispered Whately. Lisa. The fog's rolling in. I retired early after that. But sometimes on foggy nights, my old radio crackles to life at exactly 1:23 a.m. I hear dragging steps outside my house. I see yellow eyes in the window. It seems it savors its meals slowly. So, if the fog rolls into your town, keep your doors bolted tight. Thanks for listening. For 9 years, I've been the voice in the dark for a decaying industrial town in Pennsylvania, a 911 dispatcher. Nights here are long, filled with shadows cast by dying streetlights. I've handled everything from bar fights to overdoses, but nothing could have prepared me for the call from 67 Riverbend Lane. It came in at 4:09 a.m., right in the middle of a town-wide power outage. The caller was a man named Ethan Parker. His voice was a rasping whisper, hoarse like he'd been screaming silently for hours. I started the script. 911. What is your emergency? What is your location? It's calling me, he whispered. From the basement. The voice, it's like static and grinding bones. It keeps saying my name over and over. I tried to keep him grounded. Sir, what is your full address? Is someone breaking in? Is there anyone else with you? 67 Riverbend, he choked out. I'm alone, my wife. She left last month. The basement door, it's sealed. I nailed it shut last year because of the rats. But the voice, it whispers, Ethan, come down. We wait. The power's out, but I can hear footsteps circling below me. Wet, slapping sounds like bare feet on concrete. My own backup generators flickered to life. I dispatched officers Lang and Patel, but the blackout meant their ETA was 12 agonizing minutes. On the line, Ethan was barricading his kitchen table against the basement door. The handle, he stammered. It's turning. So slow. Something's prying at the door. I hear scraping, like long fingernails on metal. Then a sound started through the phone, a rhythmic thump, 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 pulsing in time with Ethan's ragged breathing. It was getting louder, more insistent. The smell, he gasped, it's like old mold and bleach. It's chatting now. It knows my birthday. It knows my wife's name. How does it know? Ethan, you need to arm yourself, I urged, my own voice tight. A knife, a baseball bat, anything. If you can, get to the attic. My officers are on their way. It's too late, he screamed. The door is buckling. I can see splinters flying. There was a sickening crack of wood. Oh God, a face in the gap. It's all wrong. Its chin is splitting open, like jaws. The teeth overlap like a shark's. Saliva is just stringing down. The eyes are milky white, and they're rolling in different directions. A loud thud echoed through the phone, the table shifting. It's laughing, Ethan sobbed, his voice lost in a chorus of echoes that seemed to come from the walls themselves. It's saying we were here first, before the house. A new sound, a ripping, tearing noise. An arm just shot through the opening. The veins are pulsing black. Its fingers are stretching, grabbing my shoe. It's so cold, like slime, it's burning my skin. The console lights in front of me blinked against the storm raging outside. Ethan's words turned frantic. I'm pushing back. I think I felt its ribs crack under my shove. There are more arms now, 3 of them, writhing through the cracks in the door. The basement. It's flooding upwards. Red water is seeping under the door. It's warm, and it's full of clumps of hair. A chorus of guttural chants mixed with the sound of splashing. Join the river. Bend. Fabric ripped. Ethan yelped in pain. A nail from the door. It's in my calf. It's pulling me down. I heard the shriek of furniture being dragged across a tile floor. The lights are flickering. The shadows, they have too many limbs. They're dancing. Ethan, hang on. I can hear sirens getting close. Make some noise. I can't, he gargled. Its jaws are on my leg. It's grinding so slow. It tastes my regret. A choked scream, then the distinct sound of the microphone being submerged in liquid. Tell her. I'm sorry. The line dissolved into underwater warbles. Sickening slurps and snaps, layered with voices chanting, reeve or bend. A few final bubbles popped, and then absolute silence. Officers Lang and Patel reached the house at 4:21 a.m. Their report was my waking nightmare. The front door was triple locked from the inside. The basement was bone dry, pristine. No water, no damage, no sign of a breach. The kitchen, however, was flooded ankle deep in a viscous red fluid that was already starting to coagulate. The kitchen table was splintered to pieces, and a trail of blood just stopped, leading into the solid concrete floor. There was no basement access. Scratched into the walls were the words, Ethan bends forever. We couldn't reach his wife. The house she supposedly fled to had been demolished years ago. Later, we found Ethan's journal. His last entries were chilling. The voices have been here since the foundation was poured. They owned the bend. Neighbors told us old legends about flood people, construction workers who drowned in the river when the duplex was being built, their voices forever luring residents to the water below. The creepiest part? A post-drop anomaly on the 911 tape. After the line went dead, after the bubbling stopped, a whisper can be heard. Alex, your river calls. I work a desk job now, but sometimes when the power goes out, I hear echoes from my own basement around 4:09 a.m. Sometimes red seeps from under the door, and the chanting, it knows all my regrets. So, a word of advice? Always check your foundations. Twice. Thanks for watching. It was 11:47 p.m. Fog choked the streets outside, turning my quiet dispatch office into an isolated bubble. I'd been a 911 dispatcher for 12 years, and I thought I'd heard every nightmare imaginable. I was wrong. The line hissed to life, and a young girl's voice, shaking with terror, cut through the static. Before I could even log the call, she was already pleading for help. 911. What's happening? What's your address? Her name was Kayla. She lived at 44 Whispering Pines Trailer Park. She told me there were shadows in her hallway. Shadows moving on their own. They weren't hers. They were stretching, twisting, reaching for her. I told her to stay with me, to give me her trailer number as I dispatched the police. Lot 44. Her parents were asleep, she said. It started with whispers. Calling her name, Kayla. It's playtime. Then the shapes started peeling from the walls like smoke. One of them was at her bedroom door, its dark, wispy fingers curling under the frame. I punched in the alert. Deputies were 10 minutes out, navigating rural roads made slick with mist. On the phone, I could hear Kayla dragging a chair to barricade her door. She cried out that the doorknob was cold, that it was frosting over. And then she said the shadows were giggling, a high-pitched, unnatural sound. She peeked through the keyhole and saw black tendrils slithering, punctuated by eyes like tiny white sparks. A skittering noise came through the line, like 1,000 spiders crawling on glass. They're tasting the air, she sobbed. They know my fears. They're whispering about the doll I buried last summer. Kyla, get a flashlight, I urged her. Back away from the door and sing something loud. Help is on the way. Just then her lights died. The chair splintered. I heard her scream that the tendrils were wrapping around its legs, that the cold was burning her skin like ice fire. A face was forming in the shadow, her own face, she said, but it was grinning, its teeth sharpening into points. A loud crash echoed through the headset. It's inside. It's crawling up the walls, multiplying. It's grabbing my arms, pulling my skin loose. My headset buzzed with static. A report came in. The heavy fog was delaying patrol. Kayla shrieked again. My mirror had just shattered, but my reflection, It's still there, waving at me. Shadows were pouring from the air vents now, coiling around her throat. They taste like regret, she choked out, like childhood games gone bad. I heard wet snaps and sickening gasps. Mom's screaming downstairs. They got her first, play forever. Her gurgles morphed into a layered chorus of children's laughter, which slowly faded back into whispers. Kayla, respond. Units are pulling up now. A distorted echo of her voice answered, slow and drawn out. Too late. We're all playing now. Come join us, dispatch. Your shadow misses you. Then, amid a final burst of carnival-like giggles, the line went dead. At 11:57, deputies finally stormed the trailer. It was empty. The doors were locked from the inside. The walls were covered in childlike scratches that spelled out, Kyla plays eternal. A strange black residue was everywhere, smelling faintly of burnt sugar. Her parents' bed was pristine, untouched. On a shelf, a row of dolls sat watching. But there was a new one, its eyes sparking white, with a little label that read, Dispatch Lady. There were no footprints in the fog outside. Later, I learned the history of that trailer. Kids had vanished from it for years, always around the same time. Locals called it shadow tag. They found the doll Kayla had buried. It had been clawed open, its stuffing replaced with tiny, unidentified bones. The worst part? When they reviewed the call recording, they found something after the line went silent. It was my own voice, mimicking Kayla's distorted words. Playtime at 11:47. I don't look in mirrors anymore. My own shadow seems to stretch a little longer after dark, and sometimes from the quiet corners of my home, I can still hear the giggling. Always turn on all your lights. You never know what's waiting in the dark. Thanks for listening.